Hey, I'm Tony, and this is Off Grid the Hard Way. I made a short about these panels, how I built this rack. There's two of them, two solar racks. They're 2,610 watts a piece, using 12 435 watt panels. This is the only one that's hooked up currently, and it's not hooked up well. Just gagged the wires together. This is brand new. This is a completely off-grid property. In fact, it has no utility easement whatsoever, so there can never be utilities on this property. Me and my family use it for camping, and someday we'll live out here. We have a little cabin that we built a while back, a utility shed. And I come out here and just do these projects as I have time. I want to get a little more serious about it. There's the solar panels that used to be powering the cabin over there. We've moved them over here since we hooked that array down there up. That solar just comes through. I've just laid it on the ground. A couple of number 10 conductors. They're a little bit warm because we're producing. Someday that'll be in conduit. Run to the utility shed. In the future, we'll use the big, there'll be a big battery right here. And all the electronics will be inside on this wall. But for now, this place just holds the old RV generator, propane tanks, lots of projects to do. Someday that'll be a wash shed, electronics shed. Let's go in the cabin, I'll show you. We just come out here and we camp. We have a fire pit over there. Make a mess, clean it up. Stay the night, stay the weekend. Go in the cabin here. As you can see, there's nothing spectacular in the cabin. It's not even insulated yet. So we just got this built. We've got it jammed full of stuff. I sit here and work on some things that need to be done out here. That AC I just put in the other day, I cut the hole in there. We haven't put the windows in. Everything's framed out. Windows are framed out. There's a window hole. That's a window hole. That was going to be a window hole, but now I've got this heater sitting in front of it. That's a project left to do. Here's where the power goes right now. A couple of 12-volt batteries. These are 8D starting batteries. I bought them used. They used to be in the generator that started, you know, the generator at the hospital. You see, it takes big batteries to start that generator. So I bought two of these used, and they never really were that good to begin with, but they work okay for an occasional use. They're wired together in series to make 24 volts. The solar comes in here on this wire into this charge controller. You can see we're bringing in 57.6 volts at 3.5 amps and putting out 25.3 volts at 7.1 amps into the batteries. It comes out of this mess. These wires here carry it to the battery. This converter takes the 24 volts and makes 12 volts for the LED strip lights. There's a water pump on the outside that's also 12 volts, a 12 volt RV pump. That's this wire carrying 12 volts to the RV pump. So basically solar comes in, makes 24 volts out to the batteries. 24 volts is converted by this converter to 12 volts. 12 volts powers the lights, the water pump, and this little refrigerator. This is an actual refrigerator. It uses a compressor cycle with a condenser and evaporator Right now it's at 35 degrees. It runs on 12 or 24 volts. I've got it plugged into 12 volts. Now this is interesting. This is a homemade, this is my DIY pure sine wave inverter that I created. I built as a prototype. It takes 24 volts in and creates 120, 240 volt split phase with that transformer. Don't laugh, it's just a transformer, toroidal transformer. There's a choke in the back, some capacitors, a feedback transformer. I built it as a prototype, hoping someday to finish it and you know, make a real inverter. I can get about 4,000 watts out of it. The weak spot currently with the inverter producing power is the batteries. The battery voltage drops too low. All this mess here is rectifier and transformer used to charge the batteries from a generator. I can plug it in there, plug that into an extension cord with a generator outside, and that rectifies it and charges the batteries off the generator when we need to, because they don't really last throughout the night. Running the fridge and the fan throughout the night, we'd be lucky to make it to the morning. These batteries are real bad condition. The specific gravity on these batteries is, I don't know, bad. It's bad. But anyway, the inverter, I built it as a prototype. I designed the circuit boards, built the controls. Well, the controls is actually a donated piece that some guys on an Australian website called the Backshed designed, but put it all together anyway. Got the controls. I put all the high-powered electronics together, wound the toroidal transformer with some leftover wire. It's a little bit warm as well, and that's what you'll find. I do a lot of my projects. Simply, I build a prototype to test the theory to see if it works, and then never return to it and use the prototype forever. So it'll probably always be a prototype on a piece of plywood. I would hope to one day build another inverter and make it more permanent, put it in a box. But probably, I mean, it works so good, I can run anything. I haven't found anything to bog it down. It's currently powering through that cord to this power strip, through that extension cord. That air conditioner right there is currently doing that and has no problem starting the air conditioner. I've started air compressors, miter saws, electric chainsaws. It's a pretty good inverter. It's just ugly and probably dangerous. You let the kids around this, you're going to get shocked. But anyway, so there's that. As you can see, you know, we got the wood stove. We got some stuff stored over here, some toys for the kids to play with, hammock or two, some cold weather stuff. It needs insulation. We need to put insulation in here badly. It's very cold in the wintertime. The stove is not even piped outside yet. We have a couple of lofts. It's got some carpet that will eventually go down the lofts right there. Solar coming down that wire. Bunch of storage on that loft. Junk, propane, butane stove, tents, tarps, cots, all that stuff. A little bit of food storage over there. My bed. A fan running. Yeah, we'll go back outside, take a look around. Here, look at the shed. This is actually the first structure built. It was 8 by 8, is 8 by 8. 8 feet by 8 feet. It's 2 pieces of plywood on a frame. I built it out of some 2 by 3s, and it just has junk thrown in there. Tools, old solar panel, propane stuff, digging tools, bucket of tools. Nothing spectacular. It also needs insulation. I need to actually refinish the roof. It needs wood underneath that metal. That was a bad idea on my part to just go straight to metal. But like someday, I think I'm going to put electronics in that corner. All that inverter, my prototype inverter, and the solar charge controllers, and all the electronics will go in that corner and connect to the giant. I've got a big forklift battery that's going to sit out here. It's a big lead acid battery, 1100 amp hours. It's going to sit out here and feed all that electronic equipment, and eventually feed the cabin. We've got some conduit. The conduit comes out of the ground. I don't know if you can see that conduit there. It runs underground this way over to the cabin. that comes out of the ground there. Is actually another one that goes to the other side of the cabin where the generator and battery are going to sit. But that's the conduit that will someday carry power between the two buildings. Yeah. It's just a mess. It's junk. It's all junk. It's my entire life. I just pile up junk, collect junk, work on junk. That's why I called it off-grid the hard way. I'm going to do all this the hard way. Here's the water collection system. It's a big 500-gallon water tank painted black. There's one gutter on the back of the cabin. Collects rainwater, goes through a flush diverter, catches all the nasties off the roof, and when that gets full, it's sealed off, and water is diverted along here down into the tank. It fills the tank. It filled the tank on one good rain. That was pretty neat. Right now we just have this 12-volt pump. It's an RV pump. Runs on 12 volts from that converter inside, comes out here. Nothing spectacular, you know, electrician approved. Runs some pretty cool rainwater. I don't even have a filter on it. The filter busted in the wintertime. Got frozen and busted, so I just bypassed it temporarily so we could have some water. It's clean enough. I wouldn't drink it, but you can wash your hands. Some water. It was pipe splits off over here. Goes to our shower. It's just a cold water shower. Nothing spectacular. You turn that on and hold your breath. There you go. It's pretty nice in the hot winter, it's pretty nice in the hot summer days. Catch a cold shower out of this tank. The tank never quite gets super hot, but it definitely has capacity. So anyway, stick around. We might do some interesting projects. There's always something to do. I want to finalize that solar. Oh, one thing I didn't mention with the solar is that there will actually be 2 more racks. I have 5,220 total watts with these 2 arrays. It's 2610 a piece. I now have 6,500 more watts coming. 6,500 more watts, 12 more panels, 545 watts a piece. I'm going to build 2 identical structures back behind these. There's still a lot of trees that come down. We're getting some pretty good shading on this side now. A lot of these trees have to come down, these small trees. A couple of those trees there come down, we can get earlier sun. So that'll happen soon enough. But we're going to build 2 other identical structures for 6,500 watts back here, giving us over 11,000 total watts of solar power, which is very neat. I'm very blessed to have that. I didn't pay a dime for either of these sets of panels. I didn't pay a dime for the other 12 that are on their way. I've traded them out. Of course, I spent time in labor to trade them out, but we worked a deal where I spent no money whatsoever buying the panels, which is very cool. I spent no money whatsoever buying the battery. I'll show that in the future. The battery's a $7,000 forklift battery. I was able to trade work for that, which is very fortunate. And so yeah, you guys stick around and we're going to do some pretty neat projects.